Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. Hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug, and you have just tuned in to the Business Plugs Mixer, which comes on Sundays at 7 p.m. ish. I say ish because sometimes we're on the money and sometimes we're a few seconds later. But this is to tell you have business conversations with business people to help the community, to help the business public. Today I'm really excited about my guest because she's going to talk about a part of doing business that most business owners don't really think about. And so this is going to be a whole enlightening and education show today. You're going to learn some things. And if you have comments, feel free to post your comments. We can't see your name unless you give StreamYard permission to show your name, but we'd love to know who you are, where you are. If you're watching right now, go ahead and put your name and say hi, that we know that you're here, and feel free to comment. Also, before I move on with her, before I let her come in, talk to you. I need to tell you about getting certified. So, is your business certified? Are you able? To say it's $750 million that has been earmarked, right? Earmarked for all the certified businesses at the federal level. And next month they're cutting it off so they can implement a new system. So, is your business certified at the city, at the state, and at the local levels? I was talking to my girl over in Florida last night, and they are doing it. Hey, Candace. Hey, Candace. Hope to see you Friday, girl. Thanks for joining us. So I was talking to my girl in Florida yesterday, and she was telling me that, we applied for hers back in August. Like, really, we applied for the federal back in August, but they were so far behind doing this pandemic thing that they were not they were not getting caught up. And so they finally, in fact, if you have been certified, if your recertification is from June 1st to May of 2025, they're giving you a pass. So if you have a recertification, go ahead and sit your application in so you can get the letter that gives you 3 more years, right? If you've already been pre-certified and nothing's changed, then they're going to give you a pass. And so if you're interested in that, reach out to sam.gov and get in there. Hurry up while they have this window open. They're not taking any new applications in the month of August because they're upgrading their system. So if you need to get upgraded, if you recertify in August or whatever, go ahead and send it in so that you can get that pass, right? And so now that's what my people want me to talk about. If you need help with that process, I walk business owners through that process. Like, I'll give you information. If you're one of those DIY, do it yourself persons, then I can help you there, send you a checklist and help you get that together. If you are a person that likes to do it with somebody, you want me to hold your hand, I do that too. My clients who I've had, they're like, Linda, I could not do this by myself. And so they appreciate the fact that I spend time in about a month's time, because we meet every week and we walk through the process and we get the process done. So that's done. My accounting staff and everybody is happy. I've done all the housekeeping stuff. Now let me introduce you to Lanisha Thadison. So Lanisha, hello, honey. Hello.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
But thank you for your yes. So tell them, who is Lanisha?
Oh, that's so complex, right? But the short answer is first above all, I am a child of God.
I love it.
And then I am a registered nurse. I am the CEO of Thadison Solutions, which is an operation consulting company, and a wife of 12 years and a mother to 3.
Well, good. So tell us, how did you start doing this?
Yeah, so I was like I said, I was a nurse. I'm working in the hospital and then in insurance companies, and I did a lot of operational work there. So building up programs, making sure we got the right workflows, the right technology, training. So I was doing all of that. So when I decided to start my own business, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm already good at, right? Which was operations. And I didn't realize that a lot of small businesses put operations on the backside, right? They put a high focus on sales and marketing, but then when they get the clients through that pipeline, they don't have the right systems to really keep the business running the flow. So then that's when they really need somebody like me to chat with.
Absolutely. And let's talk about that, because they're leaving money on the table.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Literally, they're spending more overage than it should, right? They're spending more in products and services and stuff, and probably having reworks and probably having all the different things that run up costs in small businesses.
absolutely. This I see this all the time. I had a client who we saved $49,000
Whoa.
just by getting her workflows in place. I had another
Mm,
client on my kickoff call, which is only an hour call. We saved her $10,000 by
wow.
downstreaming her systems that she was not using properly.
Wow.
$10,000 that year. And so I tell people, what could you do with an extra 10 grand that year or extra $49,000 that year, right? You can put that in
Exactly.
other places in your business or in your pocket.
Absolutely. 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 In other places, right? Rather
Mhm.
than putting it in waste. And so talk about like what when you think of the top three things that that businesses need to come see you because they happen, what top three things do you see repeatedly that mistakes businesses are making?
Yeah, so the number one is not having the right technology. So
Mm,
that can be the right systems, the right automations, again, or just picking the right tools in general. A lot of people don't have the right technology, and so they're wasting a lot of manpower doing
mm,
things manually when we can have technology that aids you. The next one is not being prepared to bring on team members. And
mm,
what that looks like is because you don't have all your processes organized, everything lives in your head. And so now, when it's
woo,
time to train someone, you have been exerted or you're tired because you don't have a way to really train them. And now, like, you're the go to person for everything. So you thought that bringing a team member on was going to save you time, but now it's actually causing you more time because you didn't lay the foundation correctly for them to come on.
absolutely. And you're having to stop. So I love that. I always go to that book 80/20 sales because that's one of my favorites. And because
Hmm.
in that book, he talks about the $110 job, the $100 job, the $1,000 job, and the $10,000 job. And if you read that book and you're doing the $10,000 jobs, but you don't have these in place, then you're costing your business $10,000 a day because you're having to sit with your trainee and get them up to speed. And there's an easier way.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that. And what else do you see?
So yeah, so the system, I mean the technology, the training, so not having the right systems and everything, or constantly just putting it off. So they
Mm,
say, well, I made a little money right now, so let me just something might be it should be working. But it's like, yeah, but you could be making more. You're actually putting a limit on yourself by not making sure you got the right operations in place.
mm. And so that takes walking through with you so you can show them. Because here's the thing, most businesses, most this is what I found in my practice is most of my business owners love their businesses. Those are their babies. And we can't see our babies when our babies are ugly. Like nobody's gonna say my children are ugly, right? And that's the same way I find it about their businesses. They're like, nothing wrong with that, Miss Linda. I'm fine. These are
Hmm.
these are fine. And I'm like, no, not really. And so going walking through, like contacting someone like you to help them to take and get an objective eye on their business processes and procedures and helping them to streamline. And this is again by working with someone like you and getting like a client I had before, because they had SOPs in place when they got ready to sell. Because they had SOPs in place, they got an extra $100,000
Mm,
of what they asked, more than what they asked
yeah.
for the business, because that's how valuable it is. Like if you don't have those in your office, if you don't have, if your whole HR process is janky and you don't you don't have that help, and you don't know, right? Because you've never owned a business, nobody in your family's ever owned a business, none of your friends own a business, and so you're just winging it. But if
Right.
you don't have those business practices in your business, then you're like leaving money on the table pretty much,
Yeah,
wasting money.
absolutely.
And so by working with you, what have your clients said repeatedly?
I get also they didn't know what they didn't know.
That part.
So that's a big one. They like, well, I don't know what was supposed to be in it. So when they work with me and they get enlightened on what are the different parts of operations they should be working on, it's like a light bulb goes off. So
Yeah,
it's very similar to what you said. Sometimes these are people who they're first time business owners. They don't have a lot of mentors that have done it before, and they're really trying to figure it out themselves. So, and that's why I always say if you have the ability to invest in consultants or mentors or coaches that actually know what they're doing, go ahead, because what it is a cheat code.
absolutely.
It helps you get jumped ahead and beat the system, right?
It's a shortcut, right? Because
Absolutely.
the most expensive way to operate a business is to go off how you feel, go off what you
Woo.
think.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when we think about something, just like when one of our kids, right? We can feel when our kids are out of line, out of alignment, because we have a relationship with our kids. We know our kids, like we carried them, we know them, we built them, we know them, we know our kids. But if you've never owned a business, you have no relationship with the business whole ecosystem. You have no relationship with that, so
Mhm.
you don't feel when your business is doing wrong. Like to
Mhm.
you, it feels like it's doing right because you're making money. You have customers, right? You feel like, oh yeah, I can go get some customers. They come and they're buying, but that is not sustainable
Right.
if you don't have a back office in place. It's not sustainable. It's good for a little while. And when you're new, before you know who all your customers is, anybody that come by as your customer, you're one of those people that say I'm marketing to everybody. Because you don't know the difference, right? And so for those reasons, it's why you have conversations with an operations consultant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've worked with people as well who are already making six figures in business. So
Mm,
now our goal is how can we get you on track for seven?
yeah,
How can
yeah.
we get your operation scalable to get to seven figures, right? So even when you think you've hit your goal, there's a higher goal that you can hit.
It's time to next level.
Yep.
Once you hit your
Absolutely.
goal, it's time to next level. I was reading some information, and I want to say it was catalyst.com that I saw it, and it said the average business, minority business, the average income for a minority business is 46,000 a year.
Mm,
That's not a lot of money
no.
because and having your processes and procedures unaligned means you're making even less than that.
Yeah.
And so and some of it could be waste, like you don't even really know, you don't really know how much waste you're doing because you're just doing business, you're doing what you think is right, you're doing what you see somebody else doing, you're watching YouTube videos and and you're at Google Academy and you're just doing all the things you see and hear and you're just treading water, just trying to make it happen because that's your way of self-taught, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I say too, when people are doing the do it yourself option, a lot of them are just picking systems that are popular or that they
Yeah,
heard of, right? And so
yeah,
they're working backwards. They're going technology and then figuring out where it can go into their business. Whereas first you should have the processes, know what you're doing, have it written out, and then determine from there what systems and technology you need and not the other way around.
absolutely. The other way around, you're buying things you don't even need.
All the time. All the
and,
time. I
and
see it
they're saying
all
thank
the
you.
time.
They're saying
Yeah.
thank you. They're saying, yeah, pay me monthly and put it on auto pay so I can get it and you forget about it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and that's what I was talking to. I'm in this business group and we meet on Thursdays, and that was one of the things is one of the business owners said, well, I went back through and got this app to clean up all those different payments that she was making for all
Mm.
the different apps and technology she never needed. But
Mhm.
she got them because, like you said, they were popular.
Yep.
And you get caught up when you don't know your business well enough. Like I teach business owners, you need to intimately know your business. Like you need to know every aspect. And it's great that you start out and be a solopreneur. That's
Yeah.
perfect because you get to learn all the ins and out. But at some point, you should start thinking about a sustainability plan. And what
Yeah.
does that look like? and who can help walk you through that. Because then you're not just throwing things against the wall to see what fits. You're actually have a successful plan in place that you can follow step by step.
Yes. Yep.
It makes all the difference in the world.
Yep, you're hitting it on the head.
I know. Hey, because I do what you do. This year, I'm not doing that though. This year, I'm glad I found you. I'm glad that I can give people to very capable hands, because one thing that I was doing is the 360 business assessment, where I was walking through their business, combing through their businesses and telling them, just like you do, telling them where all the gaps were, helping them, concrete up their business models, and so galvanize their plan so it's actually a plan that works and not just everything being thrown against the wall. So when you talk about, so how long does it take for them to work with you?
You know what? It really depends on where the business is and where the business is trying to go. Mm-hmm. And the way that I offer consulting services is different. So I can be coming in to kind of do a complete buildup, right? Like, hey, we need to just start from ground zero.
So imagine
that may be a way to work with some people. But then there are people who like, hey, I'm launching a new service or a new product, and I want to get it right the first time. So then we're going through the process from the beginning to end. I'm not looking at the whole business, but for that particular service.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on where the business is and kind of what they want to focus on at the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's good, because that's a customized service. So It's not one size fit all, just like business is not one size fit all. But it behooves a smart, prudent business owner to have that conversation, at least that first conversation.
Yes.
And so I've put your links in wherever they're watching this so that they can reach out to you. But what is the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I do offer a complimentary systems audit. So this is where I take a look at the tools that you use in technology and systems and give you my opinion on, hey, this is working good, or here are some suggestions. So a lot of clients love that, because they can have someone who's an expert take a look at what's going on and behind the scenes. And often on those system calls is where I identify a lot of waste.
Yeah.
When we see duplication and things that are not needed, or things that you do need and you just don't have.
Yeah.
So that would be the ideal place. And again, because it's complimentary, you don't have to pay anything. There's no risk at it. You're really just sitting in on an informational call that's going to really help you.
Absolutely. And every business owner need to try it, because you need to know, like, you don't know. That's the thing. The number one thing that I run into with business owners who've been doing it themselves is they don't know what they don't know. That's the one thing they always say. They say, you answer questions that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah, that's good.
Because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
But going through your assessment and actually looking at their business with a new set of eyes helps them to identify those gaps and helps them to plug those gaps in. Or think, and I was talking to someone today. Think about where you're going to be 3 years from now. Think about where you're going to be 5 years from now. Like, what does that look like? Because most of them are buying things for today, hiring people. We talked about bringing on a team, hiring people for today, not thinking about futuristic, right? So when I'm talking to business owners and I'm saying, oh, well, you need an assistant. Well, what about an assistant that has project management skills? And they're like, oh, project management skills? Well, that's different. Yeah, but we're talking about where you're going, not where you are.
Yes.
And so you have to think like that. Having those conversations with people who can objectively look at your business is going to make your business better over time.
Yeah. And this is why I also say that I really pair well with visionaries, because they're not really stuck in just this moment. They know what their business potential can be. They know where they're trying to go. So they're more fluid and they're more engaged with getting to that process, versus someone who's like, this is what it is right now. And this is just, I need to just focus on, this is what it is right now. It's like, I understand that, but don't put limits on yourself, because you just don't know how God is going to use your business. And
Absolutely.
You may need to be in a place where you're bringing on a couple employees.
Absolutely.
So
and that's the
business up now.
That is wonderful. That is great point. Because sometimes your role is to help them to see further than they can see.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of times they only know what they know. They were doing winter cutting at Mr. Joe's place for 30 years, and so they're the excellent winter cutter, but then that's all they know. Like they don't know all the other stuff that Mr. Joe had to do that they were entitled to. And so teaching them all the different metrics, all the different systems, all the different technology principles and practices. Businesses have a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And so learning all of those, like I've been in business 11 years, I'm still learning. I still sit in seats, right? I still sit in seats to learn because I don't think you'll ever know everything there is to know about your business because it's based on your customers.
Yeah. And when you say that I'm still learning, that's important too. People need to always be a lifelong learner and trying to do better and make your business better. So, like for me, being in operations and having a high focus on technology, now I need to be getting into these AI classes and learning more about that. And so, yeah, being a lifelong longer. Am I saying this right? It's a
lifelong learner. I got it.
That word, that one there. It's extremely important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I should tell them that you've been performing, so you're kind of tired. So
look, I was just telling Linda, I'm like, I performed at church today, and so my body is like, girl, what are you doing? But I'm like, my mind is like, it's Linda. We showing up today.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. I do. I really appreciate you. But I think that the information that you've shared with these business owners that follow me, and who will run across the replays, I think it's imperative that even if they don't contact us, like contact somebody, because you're trying somewhere along the line. And I was talking about this last week with another business owner. Somewhere along the line, they've made it sexy to be a serial entrepreneur. And I get that. Okay, I get that. And this is nothing against serial entrepreneurs. However, what I've learned is that sustainability creates generational wealth.
Yes.
And you cannot be a serial entrepreneur the way it's being done and create general wealth, because what I'm seeing is they're not starting a business here and keeping that one going and starting another one and keeping that one. They're opening and closing businesses.
Yeah.
Over and over again. So we're talking about building empire. I've been watching Empire this week. I've been cramming Empire. I'm thinking, Empire, there are some business lessons learned there. But when you think about an empire, you think about a parent company, and then you think about all the doing business as like the children companies, right?
Yes.
This is not what they're doing. If they were a serial entrepreneur that way, then maybe it may have some credence. But because all they're doing is opening and closing business, they are paying a lot of tax money, getting a lot of money paid to the government in different places to start all these businesses, but they're not building generational wealth. It's not going to last long term. And so I want to teach them by talking to us about what their goals and their plans are, right? I just sent this young lady last week to a business attorney. Go talk to them and tell them what your goals are and all these dreams you have in your head so that they can help you map out what that looks like. But I'm talking about building empires as opposed to this one and done and this serial entrepreneurship thing that's going on now. That has me, I'm like, we're spending a lot of money and we're not making any traction. We're not hiring any people. We're not bringing on staff, building teams. Like we're not doing all the things that it's going to take to create generational wealth.
Yeah, it's like getting one business in good health first.
Yes.
You're really focusing on that one first.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And instead of closing open, because I tell you, somewhere they've made it sexy. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Yay. And the loser is the business owner. Because you could put all those ideas under an enterprise and really make some traction in various areas.
Yeah. And the people who do really well are those who build off something that's already going well.
Yes.
So, for example, if you are a chef and you've done really well with your chef business and you built that up, now you're bringing a product line in, or now you're selling some kitchenware. So it all builds off each other. But you first had to perfect being a chef and doing that part well.
Come on, Tabitha Bride.
Yeah.
Come on, Tabitha.
Right.
Come on, Tabitha Bride. I looked at Tabitha just last weekend. She opened in Target her the chopper. She has a food processor. She has skillets. She has pots and all, in addition to it. But before she got to that, she was doing vegan cooking in her kitchen.
Yeah. Her seasons and stuff too.
Yeah. And then she elevated to seasons. And then from seasons, she went to different shows and like follow success because success works.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, follow success. Like we've watched her. She said, well, this is to all the people that saw me when I was making those vegan meals in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And she said, that's the one thing I did every day. I got on for 4 years, I think she said, making vegan meals in my kitchen. She said, I didn't even know all this other stuff was going to happen. And now she's got a wine. She's got pots and pans. She's got appliances. She got seasons. She's all in Target, big and strong. And people, and then she's got a hair product. She named Donna. But she did all the things that succinctly make sense.
Yes.
And that's what we don't think about. That we don't have to stay locked in. My mentor that for 2 years was Steve Harvey. And the one thing I learned from Steve is that at that time, Steve had like 8 multi-million-dollar contracts he was working, right? But the one thing he did was tell jokes.
Right.
But he learned how to tell it in 8 different ways. And so he had the talk show and the TV show and the kids show, and he was doing the Family Feud, and he was radio, and he was doing all these different things. He even had a glove company somewhere in Georgia. But he was doing this one thing, and he had perfected it to make it several different things. Yeah. And so that's that serial entrepreneurship, not saying that it can't work, but you need a strategy. Yes. It cannot be opening one business, closing another.
Yeah. Strategy is huge.
Huge.
Like you said, and no throwing spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah. You
got to use data.
Yeah. Be data driven over emotional driven,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So somebody watching this interview, what takeaway would you like them to have?
Yeah. So I would say my takeaway is definitely know that your operations is a telltale sign of your business success. So if you don't put any focus in it, that is going to be the downfall for the business. But if you have strong foundation, strong operations, then it sets you up for success. So remember that, like you said, it doesn't matter if you work with me or if you work with Linda or if you do it yourself, as long as you do it.
It needs to be done.
And yep, it needs to be done.
Absolutely. It needs to be done. And even if you Google University, I'm not knocking that. It's just that, like you were saying earlier, we were saying we're the shortcut.
Yes.
Like finding you a coach, finding you somebody who can actually give you strategy. Now, beware of people who've opened one thing, right? They've opened their business and now they're a business coach.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of them out there.
Yes.
Like, I have clients that come to me and say, well, I paid this lady $5,000 and I've learned more in the 45 minutes from you than I've learned with the whole year with her.
Yeah.
And it happens. It happens a lot. So people have to have credentials and, ask them, how many successes have you had? Like, ask for receipts, just like you would vet anything else.
Yes. I was just about to say, you need to, what you said, vet. Look into the people who you want to work with for sure, and see if they got any testimonials, see if they got any case studies, anything that will help you make a sound decision. Because of what I find is that people are going with services because they like them, like it's personality driven, which is good. Like you want to work with somebody you like, but that cannot be the sole reason. Like you still need to know that they know what they're doing. They're just funny online, right? You got to actually know they got to know what they're doing too.
Absolutely. I love that. Candace is talking about they just went through their business. And so they've done some things, right? They created flows and conversions and retention cycles. Ooh, that's all my love language. But she's talked about you. But the thing about it, I love that they've went through that and they've identified where her gap was, but that she was willing to listen because, again, This is somebody telling you your baby ugly. And a
Mm.
lot of people get offended because they
Yeah,
think the business in their head is the one that they want to present to the world, not understanding that there are some work that goes in the back office of those businesses.
absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, Candace, for that. Great, 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 great. Glad you're there. Want more people to be there with you. Want more people to be there with you. Well, as we wrap this up, thank you for joining me today. And my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. I just plugged you into operations consultant Lanisha Thadison, who can help you, Thadison Solutions, who can help you to get your business up and running to the next level. Check all the links. Like there are links where you can contact her. Please reach out and have the conversation. If you've never had your business idea, your business model looked at, go ahead and have that free. She's offering a free business assessment. Like
Mhm.
I charge $800, just so you know. So check, get the free one. Get the free one. But in any case, all seriously, go ahead and reach out to her and get that started. And let's get your business on point because there's a lot of money coming down this way, and we want you to get your share of it. We'll
Absolutely.
see you next week on the Business Plugs Mixer here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week, everyone.